Hello, everyone. It's Friday. It's April. My goodness. I'm still thinking it was March. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. And for all our new visitors, we're happy to have you come to our little podcast here. Nadeem, how's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going great. Can't complain. It's a slow day today, being
Yeah,
Good Friday
Good
and all
Friday.
that.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
a little
slow.
slow. But I have to call a customer back who doesn't reply to us or respond, but then all of a sudden he'll call me on my cell, and I know him so well now that I know if I take that call, 3 to 4 hours are just gone.
Oh,
So,
I think I know who it is now. Go figure.
yes, you do.
I know exactly who that is.
But so we'll, I'm gonna call him after we get done with the video here because, yeah, if I call him now, we will be done. There won't be a video.
There will be a video. Awesome, awesome. So, Nadine, I don't know. You probably have. And for our audience, I just found out about this little thing today. So there's a company by the name of, and I'm probably saying this wrong, Ubiquiti, that they produce routers that have been, heralded as, great for security and manageability. But they had a massive breach. And the crazy thing about it is, like, seems like they're covering it up. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that's crazy.
Yeah. So let me start from the top. So the company is Ubiquiti,
Ubiquity. Okay.
and it's fairly well known. They make not really professional grade, but also not consumer grade, but in between. So we call it prosumer
Prosumer.
based equipment. We've actually deployed some of their equipment. We used to use them for their Wi-Fi access points, but we've kind of moved away from them for a while now. Not because of any breach or any issues. The value prop was just not there. The failure rate started to increase with equipment, and there were better options with better warranties and basically just better devices.
Yeah.
Um, for the price, it's hard to beat Ubiquiti because, like, if you were going to deploy, let's say, Wi-Fi or cameras or something like that in your house or something, it's kind of hard to beat Ubiquiti's price point, and that's their name to fame. I mean, just to give you an example, a PoE switch from Ubiquiti will cost you, maybe $800-900, whereas from an enterprise grade provider, Cisco or Aruba or somebody like that, similar switch is going to cost you about $2,000-2,500. Of course, you're going to get more features, but the good thing that Ubiquiti has going is they've kind of created a kind of a Linux-based OS, and the same OS goes on all their devices. So whether it's an IP-based camera or a switch or whatever have you, they use the same OS on all their devices. So it's kind of standardized.
Mm-hmm.
The issue occurred a while back, and I know some people who first encountered it. This is when nobody knew that there was a breach, but I was suspecting that there was a breach at Ubiquiti because this one person I talked to, he had an account on their video website where it's a video.ui.com. By the way, that website is gone. They've discontinued it, abandoned it. It's gone. They've kind of transitioned all their video customers over to protect.ui.com, which is it's a new website, new platform. Basically, they redid it from scratch because of the breach. So, and it is a sad day when a company that has so much potential starts to cover up a breach.
Yeah.
Even if you screwed up, even if some person at your company screwed up, fess up to it, apologize, move on.
Yeah.
It eventually it's going to get out. I mean, you can try to hide it, you can try to brush it under. Eventually, things like this will get out. And the problem is now you end up looking much worse than the original breach if you had just fessed up to it in the beginning.
Yep.
There are a lot of professionals who still, recommend Ubiquiti devices, but they're now thinking of not recommending them. There are people out there who were considering fairly large project deployments that are now considering alternate vendors because of this breach and how Ubiquiti handled the breach. And if you don't know what we're talking about here, let me just share my screen. Maybe I can show you a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but
I see it. Yep.
yeah. So the of course the headline is Ubiquiti is accused of covering up a catastrophic data breach, and it's not denying it. I wouldn't say catastrophic. It did have a lot of implications, and there was a lot of stuff. I mean, it was major enough to where Ubiquiti abandoned their entire video portal. There were a bunch of customers that had this video portal in production use, and without a planned transition, it was just boom, done. It was abandoned. It was gone. So customers who still have the older equipment deployed, they were kind of left with nothing. I mean, they had huge investments in cameras and in video recording equipment, NVR equipment, and they were just left, in the wind. So yeah, that Ubiquiti didn't handle this very well. The first inkling I had of this was about, I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm bad with time, but it was about 4 or 5 months ago when one of the guys I talked to, he said he was having trouble logging into video.ui.com, that something was going on with his password, and we kind of tried to figure out what it was, but it wasn't working right and something was off. So what I did was I set him up to do local authentication with his device, bypassing the Ubiquiti Cloud portal, the video.ui.com portal, because there was some issue going on with that. That was the first hint, because soon after that happened, while we were talking, this guy's credentials got breached to where it was his fault. He was using the same password at multiple, same username and password at multiple providers. So of course that got breached, and somebody was able to connect to, for example, his Facebook account, make posts on his behalf and things like that. So it happened around the same time. So I had a very good suspicion at that point that this was Ubiquiti doing this, but I did not have any proof at that point. So I told him, hey man, this is what I think. It could be this, but man, Ubiquiti, it's a good company. I mean, I can't see them getting a breach and not saying anything about it. I mean, if there was something, especially us being a partner as well, we would have heard something. I mean, Ubiquiti should have at least told their partners about, hey, by the way, guys, this is what's happening. So
Yep.
we need to just a heads up, just educate your customers what's happening, what's how deep this breach goes. But we had no input, feedback, nothing from Ubiquiti. I mean, we're in the same boat as everybody else out there. We had no clue, and yeah, so I hate to bash a specific company, but I think, in this case, Ubiquiti let everybody down. They could have handled this better, and I don't know the internal culture of the company. I haven't personally been involved with any of the corporate side things, but from this article, it seems like their legal department told them and directed them to do certain things, even though their tech department wanted to do things differently. There was something about, and I'm just going to search it. I think this document talks about it as well. Yeah, a whistleblower from the company who spoke to Krebs claimed that Ubiquiti itself was breached and that company's legal team prevented efforts to accurately report the dangers to customers. So that little thing there, I'm thinking that kind of tells me that, okay, part of the team was wanting to, go and announce, hey, this is what happened, but then the legal team said, no, you can't do that. And I'm sure, legal team has some, good reasons for that, but it's never a good idea to brush things like this under the rug.
Well, and I guess my thing is, I and I'm not a legal bird, so I just want to make sure I point that out. But to me, you sweep it under the rug only to make it worse down the line. And I'm not sure how they were thinking that this is going to pan out. But now here you are jeopardizing, if it isn't already done, the trust of your customers. Right. Under what? That to me is weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, and especially if you are making network equipment, you're making equipment for security. I mean, how are you gonna sell security equipment when you yourself have a security issue? Now, having said that, let me say this: this OS that Ubiquiti has developed and used in their devices, that is still secure. This breach occurred on some of their cloud/web properties, which is a different team. It has nothing to do with the OS. I mean, I would still not mind deploying Ubiquiti devices as long as these devices were not in some way, shape, or form connected to the Ubiquiti cloud. Gotcha. It's that cloud that got compromised. And it wasn't the weakness of the cloud infrastructure itself. I mean, they use AWS on the back end. It was within the company how they were deploying and managing their security in their cloud properties is what caused it. Now, part of the reason might be that they did not earmark enough funding for this project, because video.ui.com was a free cloud-based portal that if you bought a device that used that portal, you didn't have to pay Ubiquiti anything. You just log in, create an account, boom, it works. So maybe there was a lack of funding to properly secure it, and there were just a few techs that got together, maybe a skunk team got together, just built something, and then management says, oh yeah, that looks good, let's roll with it. So it could be something like that. So to get around that, after blocking and getting rid of the video.ui.com portal, Ubiquiti launched a whole new portal, which is now protect.ui.com. Interesting, right?
Interesting.
Protect.ui.com. Yeah. But that so hopefully this new portal is secure. Usually you can't just wake up one day and boom, make everything secure. Usually it's a cultural issue. It's how you do business. And those kind of things take time to change. It's not an overnight type deal. It's not like you can just stop one portal, launch another portal, and everything is great because you fixed that one problem. No, it's a systemic problem where you might fix that one problem that you know about, but there might be 5 more that you don't know about. So now you're going to end up with a breach on Protect or something like that, and then you're going to have to come up with another portal called security.ui.com, right? Not to give them any ideas, but we see where this is going. But I wouldn't hesitate to like at my house, if I was gonna, if budget was an issue, I would go with a Ubiquiti device because they are low-cost prosumer devices. The reason I don't like to use their devices, why we switched years back to other providers, is the alternate providers that we use. For example, for Wi-Fi networks, we use Aruba. The reason we use Aruba is a lot of the devices, they have lifetime warranties. You can't get that with Ubiquiti. With Aruba, the way you provision devices is different. With Aruba, you don't really need the cloud key, which is what with a Ubiquiti device, you need something called a cloud key, which is a little device that plugs into either your PoE port on your switch, or it's a slightly bigger device that you plug into your network. It's powered through the network, but the thing is, you need that device to be able to connect everything, provision devices, for example, your cameras, your Wi-Fi access point, things like that. You need a cloud key to be able to provision those devices. So the architecture is a little different. I like the idea of, like in Aruba's case, we can deploy for a small business, we can deploy access points without having to deploy any kind of a controller. And then when this customer grows to where the now, let's say they went from 20 users and all of a sudden there are 200 users and we need to add a bunch more wireless access points, we can upgrade those same devices, install a local controller, and we can manage, 300 devices if we wanted to. So that ease of transition from the SMB space to the enterprise space without having to buy additional devices just to be the controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense, and that's why we switched. And of course, we've been an HPE/Aruba partner for a very, very long time. We've been a Ubiquiti partner for a very long time. But another thing that we kind of started to notice was Ubiquiti was moving more into the consumer space. And what I mean by that is it was getting harder and harder to get Ubiquiti product through the channel. None of the big major distributors were carrying Ubiquiti equipment anymore. There was only one, Synnex, they said they carried Ubiquiti equipment, but when you go to order it, they never had anything in stock. It didn't used to be like this. I mean, in the old days, Ingram, Tech Data, Synnex, all these major distributors, and there's only 3 major distributors, top distributors, who they used to carry Ubiquiti products, and now we're at a point where really nobody carries Ubiquiti products. Let me say this. If a customer had a Ubiquiti product die or I needed to replace it, I would rather go to Amazon and place the order with Ubiquiti as opposed to going to our distributor. So that says a lot. I mean, they're just moving down to the consumer space, and it is what it is. I mean, maybe their model works better that way, or maybe they want to bring this technology to the consumers more, not through not through other IT companies or other vendors. So whatever the case is, that's why we made the switch. The other major thing, like I said, was lifetime warranty on HPE Aruba. I don't know of anybody who will give you a lifetime warranty on a switch. Even Cisco does not give you a lifetime warranty on a switch when Cisco switches cost a lot more than Aruba switches. And the reason for that is that, HPE/Aruba, they have their sourcing so well, and they source the best ASICs. Their QC is so tight, they choose the best ASICs to where they can guarantee that it's going to be good for life. Now, I'm not saying they're just, putting shoddy equipment in a switch and then, saying, okay, you have a lifetime warranty and hey, it's cheaper for us to replace it. So let's just give them a lifetime warranty just to sell it. And then if some things break, we'll just keep replacing them. No, I have yet to see an HPE/Aruba switch with a lifetime warranty have a single port failure.
Wow.
Not a single port failure. If you are detecting a port failure, I think there's been one case where we thought it was a switch port issue, where it was not a switch port issue. It was this company had their own IT guy, and he logged in and did he caused some configuration issues. And of course, he swore up and down he didn't do anything. But anyway, so we got this switch replaced before the switch actually failed, because we thought, okay, that port might be going out. And HPE/Aruba did not have a problem replacing the entire switch. When the switch was working, it was just one port that we thought was a problem. And then when we sent it back, we try to follow through and figure out what happened. So when they did their forensic assessment on it, they found out that it was this one configuration issue causing that problem, and the switch was fine. But they did not question it. They did not say, oh, well, we want to run some tests and blah, blah, blah. They said, nope, here's a new switch, overnighted it. And that has a lot of value for companies like us, because that's lower cost. If we don't have to do 2 or 3 truck rolls for something, that's a lower cost to us, to our customers. So, and that's why we kind of have standardized on HPE/Aruba, where they do have the lifetime warranties, and their things work great. The other side of the equation is using better ASICs allows a wider range of environmental thresholds and things like temperature, so their equipment can stand a broader variation in temperatures. It can stand higher humidity. It can stand, you can deploy it outside without having to put it in an enclosure, in an external enclosure. So things like that, just because of using those better ASICs, the products can withstand harsher conditions, and that has some value for us as well. But yeah, in Ubiquiti's case, I think they could have handled this a lot better. It's always good to come out clean and just, hey, if you screwed up, you screwed up. Just fess up to it, move on. And otherwise, it's it's always going to be one of those things where people will be like, okay, oh yeah, it's the same company that tried to cover up this breach.
No, yeah. Well, speaking of security, the last time we did our show, we told everyone, and Nadeem actually was asking everyone to give some input on if they would be interested, and we want to reiterate that we really would like to see if there's now. I think a few people reached out, correct, Nadeem?
Yeah. So yeah, a few people have reached out, and there is a lot of interest for people to want to do this. So folks, we don't have a date/time yet. We're still trying to figure that out.
Yep.
If you have suggestions, feel free to reach out. But yeah, we're gonna do it, and the part that I'm gonna focus more on is the Q&A part. That's what I'm hearing from people, is that they would love to have a Q&A session and just pick my brain around how to better secure their infrastructure. So yeah, I'm getting some feedback. I'm not sure when, we just want to find a good day that most people can attend, and I think, as historically, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, barring any holidays and stuff, are better days. And since this is going to be a webinar type deal, like it's going to be, a virtual thing, it won't take that long. I mean, it's going to be like maybe 20 minutes of a presentation and then a 10-minute Q&A, and we'll be done. I don't know, morning times I think usually works better, but we're still trying to get a feel of what most people who want to attend are saying. So if you have any feedback around that, let us know what times are best, what works. If you have some questions in mind right now, send them to us, and we'll try to answer all of those during the Q&A session. Or if you can attend, you can just ask us live, and there'll be option to send us a chat message or just speak and say it to everybody. It's not gonna be an overly formal type event, so we'll keep it casual. We'll I think a lot of businesses, a lot of the business owners, they I think they know a few people that are going to attend. So there's a lot of people that know each other already.
Yeah.
So it's not like nobody knows you're a total stranger and blah blah blah. But yeah,
But
I think it'll be
even if you are a total stranger, the great thing about what Nadeem does with it is so informal. And as you see, Nadeem loves to answer questions. If there is something on your mind, Nadeem is going to answer that question and make sure you're comfortable with it. So, yeah, I think quite honestly, it'll be a great thing for those of you, like you said, like Nadeem said, you have lingering questions. Come on, talk to us.
Yeah. Now I don't know everything, but I can find out the answers. I tell the guys over here, like every time we bring on a new guy, and I tell them, I was like, look, we don't expect you to know everything. Nobody knows everything, right, but we expect you to find the answer.
Yeah.
You need to know how to find the answer, and so a lot of times what happens is I tell people, okay, you need to know how to find the answer. And we hire an engineer, and they'll be working, and I'll get a text from this engineer, hey, Nadeem, how do I do this? And I'm like, No, when I said you need to know how to find the answer, I didn't mean come and ask me. I mean you need to do your own research and find it. And I try to insist on that because that just develops their skill set to finding solutions to problems. I mean, it's very easy to for somebody to tell you, "Oh, do it this way," and you do it without understanding the reasoning behind it or understanding the basics of that concept. So that's why I try not to just, especially our own, employees and engineers and tech guys. I try not to just give them the answer. I want them to dig a little to find the answer.
Mm.
And I think that works out better in the long run. I mean, our goal is not just to fix the immediate problem, but if we can fix the problem and we can basically uplift our tech/engineer, improve their skill set, then
Yeah.
all the better.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love it.
that's why I try to do
Yes,
that.
sir. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
So today, it's a slow day. I think we'll call it at that. It's I got to call, this one person back, and it's not going to be a slow day for me.
Well, I'm still gonna go bother some people, so somebody's got to be there somewhere. So,
Right, right. So, Mac, you have a good day and have a great weekend,
too,
and
sir.
we'll see you back on Monday.
Monday, everybody have
Yep.
a good one.
Have a good one, everyone.